here we are again, a little bit different this time. I want to get this first thing off my chest right away. You don't, after defeat, you don't want to play the blame game. It's really not appropriate. And yet, probably everybody, mentally at least, does that. So I want to do that with you a little bit, just to clear the air and make sure that the rest of my talk tonight can be, void of any sense of what actually happened. This year, as you see from my shirt, we don't have the Nike swoosh here. We have the Jumpman. And those of you that are a bit younger probably don't know, after Michael Jordan won 3 championships, he retired. And so I'm placing the blame firmly on Michael Jordan for what happened last night. And I've written a letter to Nike to ask Michael to come over here and apologize to the community. So I'm expecting that to happen in due course. I'm not going to go through the litany of thank yous because the seniors have done an outstanding job of that, and time moves on. We want to move on. Most of the people that I see every day, my coaches, the management, devs, they know how much I appreciate them. I don't really need to labor that point. I do want to say thank you to Boss MVP. I want to get that out of the way right up front, because if I don't, I might forget, and then bad things could happen to all of us. So we don't want to do that. Boss, as everybody has said, for your unwavering support, your kindness, your generosity, and the knowledge that you were there is a real bedrock of our success, and very much a part of why we are motivated all the time to continue to bring you joy through the work that we do and through the success we're able to achieve. So thank you very much, guys. I do want to thank, in Mass, I want to thank Father Bobby, the Jesuit community, and the Ateneo community. We can't stand here this year and talk about being champions, and I'll address that a little bit more shortly. But what we have evolved in the time that I've been here, and I know that through, certainly through Coach Norman's years and going back further, we've evolved in terms of the basketball community, possibly even the sporting community, the notion that we are champions, and that being champions is synonymous with Blue Eagles. And I like that, and it is a burden at the same time. But I know that the important thing about that is it is a burden that we share with the community. Not because you are dying for your sports teams to be champions, but because the university itself fosters the belief that to be an Atenean means to be the best. And I think we as a basketball team, we strive to embody that for our university community, for our alumni. And we have so many wonderful examples in our community of Ateneans who have reached tremendous heights. This year we didn't quite make it. I don't think that's cause for an apology. What I do think it is cause for is a reason for us to self-reflect. Not just that there could have been things done differently. Even when you win championships, you do do many things differently. But more that you owe it to yourself to find the elements that God has put in all of us that allows us to rise to the level of champion. And so, defeat on the stage last night, as Boss MVP said, is not reason to hang our heads, certainly in shame. But it is reason to self-reflect. It is reason to dig deeply down inside yourselves, to humble yourselves and to understand who it is you need to be and what things, what actions you need to take to again discover within yourself the champion that you desire to be. And certainly, if Boss was up till 4 last night, I was up till probably 6. And both of us were probably doing much the same thing. Trying to figure out what it is we need to do, not worry about, not think about, but what we need to do to help our basketball community and to help the Ateneo community once again rise to the levels that we all aspire to. So thank you to the Ateneo community for being that for us in a year when unfortunately we weren't quite that for you. So thank you very much for that. Again, without delving too deeply into the thank yous, there's 3 people I do want to say thank you to very much. 2 of them are here, 1 of them is not. Debbie, I know this was a tough year for you to not be with this team that you love so much, but there was never a day that went by that we didn't know you were there. Thank you so much. Boss Q, along with all the coaching staff, you made the sacrifice to be away from family and be in the bubble with us. And you have such a wonderful family. And I know you love them so much. I know that was difficult, and so much falls upon your shoulders. And I probably get more agitated with you than anybody else in my life at this point in time. But I do that because of the unbelievable confidence that I have in your friendship, in your love of the team, and I know in your love for me, and it is reciprocated. Thank you so much. As some of the seniors did, I might have a little bit of difficulty on this one too. Father Nemi is not a guy that I've always had the smoothest relationship with. As anybody on the inner circle knows, and she knows best. We do butt heads. Probably because he's really butthead and I'm just mildly butthead. And I can say that because he's not here. He was a huge inspiration to us this year. Every day we prayed for him. And every day we watched him battle for health, for the chasing of his personal passion, which besides Jesus Christ would be to spend time with this team. We helped him up and down the steps. We carried his walker. We love the man. And there were times when we thought we might not keep him this year. And it made me personally realize how much I love that guy. So he couldn't be here tonight because he's a little too tired, I think. Because last night took a lot out of him. And I apologize to him for that. this year, he became a great man in my life. And until this year, I never thought that would happen. So, Pods, I know you're not here, but you're here. Thank you so much. We love you. I would, well, let me say, first of all, before I talk about the seniors, let me talk about the rest of the team and talk a little bit about the game last night. I've been in this thing a long time. Hell, I'm turning 64 next week. And that's another reason I'm not going to thank everybody by name, because I sure forget some people and then everybody be offended at me. We've already had enough of that over the last year, everybody being offended at me, so I'm trying not to let that happen, at least not tonight. But, so the team that will be returning, we have some work to do, not just to carry on a tradition that we're proud of, but also those who were seniors last night. They carried a burden greater than was theirs to carry. I told you guys too many times that you didn't own any of those previous championships. You didn't own a winning streak. It doesn't belong to you four seniors. But neither does not getting a 4P. Neither does not getting the 40th win in a row. That doesn't belong to you either. What does belong to you, and to all of you, except Chris, Dave, Forts, Josh, Arv, what does belong to you, except for those guys, is your champions, all of them. You've already been champions, so you don't lose that. As a team, you develop your own identity, but as a person, you don't lose them. But now, as the team of season 85, we are nothing. We are not defending a championship. We are not on a winning streak. In fact, we're 0-1 in terms of a winning streak. But what we are is a team that has a pedigree of success. That we will defend. That we will honor with the work that we do. And that we will carry into season 85 in order to allow us to have the right to become champions again. Because without those things, it becomes so much more difficult. So, to the returning players, it's not far away. And I can't wait to get back to work with you. Now, I would a lot rather talk about losing a winning streak and losing a string of championships than I would talk about losing these four guys. And I want you all to know that I had a fantastic speech prepared. Deb, I can show it to you, it's here. But most of it was about BJ, who we all thought until today we were losing him as well. And I gave a great speech in the dugout last night, centered primarily on BJ, and wrote another great one today. And, it's just not fair for you to do that. But I'll tell you all why. BJ was the humblest. He's funny, yes. He keeps things light, yes. But he's the humblest guy in the team, in reality. Until, he had one game this year where he scored 18 points or something like that. BJ, I know you remember every point. How many was it? 18? And he got to go to the press conference. He was a changed man. Everything had to be about BJ from then on. So when he announced he was leaving the team, I'm now certain that there was no chance he was actually leaving the team. He wanted the publicity, he wanted the speech. I'm surprised he didn't announce it tomorrow, frankly. You'd be the only guy ever to give 2 goodbye speeches, by the way. But on BJ, I'm thrilled that we're keeping him. Thrilled. Now I do have to talk about these 4 guys. And I'm going to sail through this. This is going to be easy. And not. Yeah, I would much rather talk about losing championships than talk about losing these 4 guys. I'll start with Rafi, because I literally started with Rafi. I don't even know how many years ago. It was a lot. I don't like LA. He lied when I said LA is my favorite place. I don't like it at all. Nor most people that are living there or from there or visit there. I had to go there. And somebody told me I had to go there to recruit. And I think it was Lost Q, in fact. And he said, "Oh, we've got to go see this player. We're going to go to his high school game." I was like, "Good. Let's go. Let's get a good player for Ateneo," because all we had in those days was Big Fat Mike and his twin brother, and 11 guys on academic suspension. So I was pretty excited about who we were going to recruit. I was really looking forward to it. So I said to Boss Q, I said, "Tell me about this stud we're going to go see." And he said, "Yeah, you're really going to like him because you're kind of player." Pretty happy, I was pretty excited. He goes, "He's a 6'3" power forward." I said, "What about that am I really going to like?" You said he's 6'3" and a power forward. 6'3" is a shooting guard, or am I mistaken? And he said, "Oh, he's not a shooting guard. He's kind of fat, like Big Mike." I said, "We've already got a 6'1" power forward who's fat. We don't need a 6'3" who's fat." What's up, Mike? You want to come up? Nah, you've been up here before. So we went to the game, and Epoch, of course, did not tell me the truth. He was 6'2". No, you're not. So you're not 6'2". He's 6'2". And he was fat. But he had heart. He had real heart. And, sometimes you can just see that when somebody jumps out at you. And he had personality. And he had a wonderful mother and father. So all of a sudden, the pieces of the puzzle were starting to fall in place. That we were going to get a great kid. We were going to get a kid that would lay it all on the line to win. We were going to get a kid that maybe didn't have the most talent, but had a desire to be a talent. I mean, he was from LA, so he's got a big ego, so he had to fill that up with something. And then I spoke to him after the game. The deal was done. Big smile, winning personality, and a fierce competitor. And I knew that all we had to do then was was figure out where and there we could find a really good player. And let me tell you, and I'm not saying this in jest, it was hard. It was hard to find a really good player because he disguised the good player with effort. He never relied on being a talent because he always relied on being the best fighter on the court. And last night, in the game, we were trying to figure out UP and we were trying to do some things. And I kept saying to the guards, I kept saying, look, if we'll run a ball screen and we'll pop Rafi out, he'll be open. And of course, Rafi has hit some threes in his career, but he's not known for that. But he's been working so hard on it because his future as a pro is going to be as a perimeter player. He's been working so hard on that, and the coaches have seen it, and we've all seen it. And I wasn't sure the guards ever really saw it. And your good friend BJ missed you on a wide open one. And I was mad, I was really angry at BJ again. And I don't know who it was, but then we ran another action and you popped out, you caught the ball, and he shot the three, and it went in. And for me, that was validation of Rafi. That was validation that this 6'2" fat kid who aspired to be something that he still aspires to be, which is a guard, that was validation that he can move on from being this hard worker, this competitor, to being a real talent. And I say to you, Rafi, move on. You're ready. But you leave a massive hole in our team. And for that, I thank you too. Because your teammates recognize that. And they will work hard to fill that hole. God bless you. God bless your future, your endeavors. I know you'll be a great pro. And as you said, we've already talked about, we're going to be great friends. So yeah, you can call me Tab. Mamu, you can't and you will never be allowed to call me Tab. Never. I want to talk about Jolo now. We had a tough year. Jolo had a really, really, really tough year. And that's the essence of what I want to talk about, because the measure of the man is the measure of the man in crisis, not the measure of the man when everything is going well. And this man measures extremely well. He had injuries this year, and they were fluke injuries. It was really unfair. He found it difficult, and I found it difficult to fit him in to a roster of 16 that had attributes throughout the roster that always seemed to push him to the side. And along with the injuries, he just never had a fair chance to get out on the court and be the player that he really is. And we've seen that in other years. And we've seen him contribute and perform. We've seen him be a champion. And rightfully so. But I guess this year we're talking about you moving on. You impress me all the time. And of all the faces that I would look at before games, knowing that I wanted to get you out there and I might not, after games, knowing that you desperately wanted to contribute and you didn't get the chance, it was always your face that I would look at. And folks, you sitting here, you get some moments of truth from me sometimes that don't come out very often. And Jolo, that face made me proud of you, and it also tugged at my heart. Because you're one of my guys and I love you. And I wanted for you what you wanted for yourself. And call it conspiracy of circumstances, call it pandemic effect, call it just rotten luck. It wasn't to be this year. And I can only apologize to you because I put you in that position. And I say that with a sad heart, but I say it to a man that I know achieves in spite of. And if I've ever contributed anything to your future greatness and your welfare, I want you to know that who you were this year and the man that you were through this adversity made me better, made me tougher, made me softer, it made me care more, and I think all of those things are good things. So today I stand here to thank you, maybe not so much for your on-court contributions this year, but to thank you for who you are and who that has helped me to be in what has been a really tough year. So Jolo, God bless you. Thank you. And I will never not be there for you. He's the hard one. He really is the hard one to stand here and talk about. And so much of it he said well himself. How do you come up here and talk about playing behind Matt and SJ? Yeah, I could never have done that. I mean, I could just leave it there. And if people really understand what it takes to do that, they would understand the magnitude of the man that you are. That blew me away. A lot of what you said and the way you said it, and you were pretty soft up here, but was great, but that blew me away. And everything that I thought I wanted to come up here and say about you, it just kind of flipped. Because what I wanted to come up here and say was Tyler's a guy that, we all saw him play. We know what a good basketball player he is. He gets out there, he can shoot the ball, he handles, and he's really a two-guard in a point guard's body, and he's worked tirelessly and tremendously to turn himself into a point guard for the team, mind you. But he goes out there and, and then we sub him out. We put SJ back in. And he comes over and he gives SJ 5 and tells him, go get it done. And he steps up in big moments whenever we need him to. On the surface, and this is what I wanted to say, you would be a guy that maybe people could overlook. Maybe. We didn't when we saw the skinny kid playing at Xavier. I saw a smart player, and I like smart players. But you yourself stand tall. You yourself measure yourself as you just did against what we all think and know and believe are the biggest measuring sticks. And in doing that, you stand taller than all of us. I knew that I was going to talk about the quality of man you were. When you were talking up here, I was whispering to MVP, what a super, super young man this is. That's easy. Mom and Dad, right? I mean, apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? They are great people. But being around you is in and of itself a blessing, a joy. And it isn't because you smack me in the side of the head or because I know that you're there all the time. It is really because I don't have to know that you're there all the time, but instinctively, absolutely know that you're up there all the time and always will be. I don't even know if people are getting what I'm saying. But when you're not there, like starting tomorrow, I'll know that too. And I will miss you. And I will feel that void, not just when I look over to the bench, not just when I look out on the court and need a problem solved, but when I look around the dugout and I see all the faces that are there, that one reliable, stoic, emotionless guy that is just the most dependable guy won't be there. And unlike with Rafi, I know people will step up to be the competitor that he is. I don't know how easy it will be to find somebody who will be that rock. I really miss you. I've loved having you here. It feels like you've always been there with me. And I'm really going to miss when you're not there with me. God bless you, son. You did a great job. Yeah. I did say in the dugout last night, I did say that there was one word to describe Mamu, and that was special. But I didn't say the one word that describes what I feel when I'm around him, when I think of him, when I watch him, whether it's playing or practicing or interacting, and that is joy. That's what you bring. Imagine, each and every one of us, imagine there's somebody who has a big impact on your life, as I do on Mamu's. And there's somebody that has tried to help you with basketball, with life, with all the stuff that we've been through. And then imagine you hear that person say that in your life, they are joy. That's awesome. You are awesome. And I want those guys behind you to think about that. Because I don't think that that's even natural for you. Maybe it has become natural. But I think you make an effort to be that element in our brotherhood that every single one of us can look to. And it isn't a joke, it isn't the humor that, again, BJ gives us. It's different. We see it in you, and we experience it because of you.
That's powerful. And I want to say something powerful for you because you deserve it. I can wax on about you as a player, your defense, your development as a three-point shooter, your mid-range jump shot, your captaincy. I can talk about all that stuff, but everybody has seen that. That was on display for everybody. And you're very obvious when you're out there because you play with that openness. So we see who you are, we see who you've evolved from and into. But I want to tell the Ateneo community, and not just people that are here, I want them in New York City and Washington, D.C., and London and Dubai, and in Melbourne and Hong Kong and Taiwan. I want them all to know that the joy that you bring to our team is a joy that you gave as a gift to the entire Ateneo community. And we wouldn't have that if we didn't have you. So if it was Coach Sandy that was the catalyst to bring you, maybe that's one of the greatest things you've ever done, Sands. Because Mamu one of the greatest players I've ever coached. I think I've only coached about 4,600 players, so there's a lot more out there, right? So you're not all that yet, but in my life, the amount of joy you brought me coaching you, man, I hope we can find somebody to replace that because I don't want to lose that joy. So if I have to allow you to call me Tab in order for you to be my friend and stay in my life, I guess I can do that. Please be my friend. That's going to wrap it up for me. Last night was tough. And what was tough about it is I've lost a lot of games in my life. Lost finals, series, championships. What was tough was those moments that I spent with those guys after the game. Because as I said, they carried a burden that they should never have ever thought about carrying. But because of the men they are, that's why they carried the burden. So I want you guys to know that if you're going to try to continue to carry it, I share it with you. But I hope that you don't. I hope that you understand that your time at Ateneo has made Ateneo and the Blue Eagles champions. Because of that, you'll always be champions. And for me, you're part of my first great generation. Thank you guys, I love you.